and like that's kind of the point, getting together to do that kind of stuff and
Do you think some
just
of
be
that is maybe also a way to kind of remind yourself that that rambunctious person that got sent to the boarding school amidst all of life's new responsibilities and stuff like that, that guy is still in there?
no, it's unavoidable. It's totally unavoidable. You can't stop it. I can't stop it. It's useless to try. If I'm happy, I'm doing something like that.
Gotcha.
I'm truly annoying, in that way. If you're close to me, you know what I mean, but like, it's just a part of how I do things and entertain myself and others, I guess. Just how it goes.
Can you talk about recording in this Defiance? Because that record,
Mhm.
I remember when I first heard that record, similar to when I had the One Truth record, but the experience was different because I was like, wow, this is bigger. It sounds bigger than like almost anything I had heard, not just from you guys, but just like from a hardcore band. And I know that you guys were on Victory, and I know that things were bigger at that time, and it was a different time. But like, was that the idea going into that record? Like, hey, let's just throw it all into this record, or I mean, what was the idea?
Well, I think that Victory wanted, to make sure it checked off all these boxes and like, so, okay, you guys are doing a record. For it to even count as a record, it needs to be, you know, this much material, and that's why there's so much weird noise on that record. You know what I mean? It was kind of, as I recall, kind of like overkill of Victory saying like, the album needs to be longer. Like, here are the songs, and it was like someone at Victory like had a stopwatch, and they were like, "You guys came in, 45 seconds under, so it's not going to count as an album." We're like, "Oh yeah," like,
Well, but
like
so
we'll
none
make
of
all
that
this
had
weird
to
stuff,
do
and
with the like, because I thought some of the sounds you're talking about were actually like you guys were like like inspired. Because remember International Noise Conspiracy? No, no, not them. Refused. Refused put out that record that was kind of like had like some like it was just it had different sounds and doing different things. Was any of that, or was it
no,
more?
I don't think there was any inspiration from anything to do that beyond
Gotcha.
us wanting to have something kind of build up, as like an intro, maybe an outro, so their idea was there, and I can't say that anytime anybody said like, oh, like that, like there's all kinds of random shit, us screaming and banging on things, and like that was just I think very natural for us to like make that into whatever it ended up being.
Mm.
But yeah, that was I remember something that I regretted when things that people were like CD players on shuffle was like, oh, it would grab one of those tracks, and it was like, oh crap, that was a mistake. Like I felt like, oh, that was that this is a bad experience. Like if you're not standing by ready to skip to the next song, I don't you don't want your friends that bought it to put it in their CD thing and have it shuffle around. And every time it goes on your music, it's always that thing. So I thought, oh crap. So I remember kind of regretting that it was so much of it, but I guess it's a part of the record. Yeah, and it wasn't. I don't think there was too much consciousness as far as like what we need to do. It was like we're this another really expensive, more expensive place than the last time. Like let's get through it. We didn't know how to map out the drums or anything, so we ran through them in the studio. Okay, and let's just start recording. And so as I remember, like the band would run through it, and then I actually would play the song. So I played all the songs first with Sid. play
Great
them,
drummer.
scratch them.
Great drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great drummer.
It definitely has his own energy. He had to bring an energy to it, and
flat, lays all his drums flat. Yeah.
He evolved to get, what he wanted to get out of it. And he didn't care, which was awesome. And so, like, a great example of who we were. He was just going to do things the way that he wanted. He definitely had inspiration for why he did some things, but there's nobody that does what he does the way he does it. That's for sure. And so we ran through it. And I remember, I think the album sounds different because I recorded all the guitar tracks. We got the drums recorded, and I just would play the track first. And so it has like a rigidity, I would say, that like is more my playing style. So that album sounds different. But I remember doing that, and then having, Bob, Dave, the guy that engineered it, recorded it. We did the first song, and I was so proud. I remember feeling so proud of his reaction. I played through the song, recording to tape. We got through it, and he was like so pumped, like, okay, we're doing this. It's on its way. Like, it's going to be, he knew, I think at that point, he knew what to expect for the rest of the thing. And I think he was happy about it. And so I was really happy with myself, just, having been put in a really important role of like, okay, like, let's get this, capture it and get it right, delivering. And we spent a lot of time there though.
So that was it took longer. So you had you had more time on In This Defiance than One Truth.
I would say so. I mean, One Truth was like, it was happening all night long. Like, we weren't getting there till late. We were like leaving the studio to drive home. The sun was up.
Okay.
And that's when we were going home for One Truth. It was like all weird hours, and so like the sensory of that whole experience was like, this took forever, because of that. And we were in a dungeon too. It was like, no windows, no light in the One Truth recording, whereas Sound City was where we recorded In This Defiance. Totally different environment, perfectly suited for us, I would say.
Was there for you, like, are there technical things for you about the guitar, or like sounds like that are must-haves for you? Or are you, like, I remember, and this is actually in the movie, when I interviewed Vic from Inside Out about 108, and I remember him saying, like, and this surprised me. He said, I was never one of those people that cared about the humbucker and the pickups, and I just wanted to play the damn instrument. Are you one of those guys, or do you go more technical?
Yeah, I didn't know anything. I didn't know I had a lame guitar when I started. Other people told me that. I didn't know that. I didn't know I had the wrong stuff, or I need, like, you need to go get this other amp. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do that. And so I phased, like, where I thought I needed all this stuff. Like, we had an opportunity to get a endorsement deal with Mesa Boogie amps, and we got them built inside of road cases so that they could get in and out, and we could just take them wherever. And they were heavy and problematic. I didn't know how to work this damn thing, and nobody showed me, and there wasn't a video for me to watch. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't know what you were doing, and I had no clue. And so I was frustrated by that next step of, like, instrument or whatever I needed to have. It was always frustrating. I went first European Sepultura tour, or Sick of It All tour. I had a Fender Stratocaster with a bridge, a suspension bridge. I don't know if you know what that means, but like, and it was like just a bitch, just to mess with it. And it was like, oh, this is a really nice guitar, but it's not for me. It needs to be kind of indestructible, to be honest with you. And I was able to find some of those and still have, those ESP guitars that we first got in, I want to say 95 or 6, like right before that In This Defiance recording. And we were able to use one of those, on the recording too. So, simple, and at times when I felt like I don't have the right thing, I've heard the recordings and I go, that's fine, like, and I'm okay with it. Like that doesn't sound like really distorted, heavy.
Was
But I
Andrew
know
a big help with that, like in terms of figuring that kind of stuff out, or was he in the same place as you?
no, to be honest, we still like figure it out when we get together and try to get it right. Andrew somehow, and not everything he does is louder than everyone all the time, no matter what he's doing. But when it comes to that stuff, he, like if we would tour and we would have these two amps, I would always choose the crappier one. Andrew's, just be ready, do this thing, and I'm gonna dive in a little deeper and try to make this thing work. And that's kind of my approach. Like if I have this little thing of tuner and a gate or whatever, and if I can make anything, I'll be all right with anything. It doesn't matter what it is at this point. Like I'll be fine. Whatever you got, I'll play through it. And I felt like it just makes me focus on playing, which isn't really like Strife. It's not like the band's like, let's focus on playing everything perfectly or good, like well. But sometimes I really appreciate that as having that challenge and then trying to play our stuff, the best way I can.
Did you play on Anger Means?
Nope.
Gotcha.
Nope. Anger Means is totally, I guess, Andrew and Sid. I don't know if Rick wrote any of it, but
because I remember they were supposed to be a new band called Anger Means, and then it kind of just was like, hey, we're going to be Strife, and that.
Pretty much. I played with them, rehearsed with them. They had one of the songs that needed an ending. I wrote an ending to one of the songs, and then I was out.
Gotcha.
That's all. If I contributed anything, it was an ending of one ending part to one song. That was it.
But now,
nothing to do with the recording at all.
You left though, but then now you're back.
Yeah, I think the band did some touring around that in Europe. Different drummer. I think I'm not even sure who played guitar. I know Franklin was in there for a little bit, and I don't know if he played bass or guitar, or I think guitar. I don't know what happened. Really, like we just.
And that was Franklin from 108.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen some videos that people took on some of those European tours, and I think they just went to Europe, maybe did something in the States, and I think that was all. So then nothing happened with the band for a period after that. I don't think it went very well. I think everyone had issues with the recording and putting it out and how it sounded, and it wasn't, we played some of the songs. We played a couple of those songs for a little while when we started to do stuff. I think that was probably around 2005, I think. And when everything got back together, it was that, that lineup from In This Defiance, or One Truth plus me,
Gotcha.
Whatever. Yeah.
When you left the band, and we don't have to, I mean, I don't know too much of the specifics, but did that have anything to do with golf? like you leaving, or was it just kind of just at a different place in your life and you just were like, hey, I'm going to do something else?
Yeah, I just wanted to do something totally different. And I don't know if you can get more different, because those guys don't know anything about that. And if they've had any exposure, it's through me, and so it's just another world.
Had you always been in the golf? Like, can you talk a little bit about that? Because are you still in that? Here's the thing. When you and I first spoke and you were talking to me about golf, like this was years later, I thought you were messing with me. I'm like, okay, he's messing with me. He just doesn't, he's just, tired of me asking him questions. So can you?
No. Imagine having like a parallel universe to hardcore and music, right? And the scenes that you're comfortable in, right?
Mm.
It's just another one. I have a whole nother one. That's it. It's like, the Evans exist over there too. It's the same thing. So, people, they're different, I talked earlier about having an idea about what Sepultura was as an example. Same thing with golf. I thought I knew who these people were. I thought I knew what they were about, and I didn't. You know what I mean?
What
So
is your relationship with golf? Had you always been playing? Like, are you like what? Like, yeah. Break this down because
okay,
I know, but
all
I
right.
don't
So
know.
that house that my parents lived in, where I would invite everybody over,
Mm-hmm.
was up the street from a golf course. There was a kid that I went to school with, 13-year-old kid that I went to school with. He had stuff, hit a stereo, and not like grandma and grandpa bought this for you. Like he went and got equipment, and it was like you can't afford to do that. Well, I was working at the golf course at the driving range, and I wanted to earn money, so I would go and basically earn money. And God, I was 13. Like the guys that ran the driving range were young guys, and they would leave me there to run it, and they could go undetected, take off for 2 hours, and go do. And so I would like run the driving range, and so my dad loved the game, and so I would take him there. All of a sudden, just overnight, it was like, Dad, let's go to the driving range. Oh, really? You want to go? Okay, let's go. We would show up, and they would go, "Hey, Todd," to me. His name was Todd, and here, grab whatever you want. Go enjoy. And Dad didn't have to pay. It was like, what just happened? You know what I mean? And so I was in. I was in there, and that was all. I would make a couple of bucks. They would feed me. I would hit golf balls just for fun. I didn't have any rules. Golf wasn't like the game. Like go play and play the game. I wasn't really playing the game. I was just trying to hit it as far as I could. And so that's how I learned. And so and then I could take my friends to do. It's like one of those positive cures for boredom back then was, oh, we can do this all day if you want to do this. Really? Yeah. Like Andrew, I took him down there. He was like, I can't believe that was free. I can't believe we did that for free. I mean, like, yeah, anytime you want to go, let's go. So that was happening. So that was the relationship. That's where it started. And then I would go on a trip every year with my dad. We would go visit, his friend, and we'd end up playing golf. Playing the game on a golf course. And so I was decent at it and could play, and figured it out, and wanted to beat Dad when we would go, and that was really the motivation. Just so I have a different relationship with it than a lot of people do, and that's how it started.